America goes to war. Men of the Army, Navy, and Marines reinforce the battlefronts on 6 continents to save the homes and ideals of free men from Axis domination. The worldwide conflict brings intrepid American airmen to China's heroic fighting front. "10,000 miles from home, men and supplies pour in through India, the last doorway to China. Cheerful yet determined, welcome strangers in a strange land." American naval guns open up on the Jap-held Solomon Islands. At Guadalcanal, United States Marines in a swift, surprise invasion add new glories to the fighting career of their illustrious corps. The retreating Japs attempt to destroy their newly completed air base. It is quickly captured by the Leathernecks and renamed Henderson Field. History recorded as it happened. The Marines are the first to raise the American flag on enemy territory. Seeking out and blasting Hitler's U-boats is the rough, tough job of naval aviators and men of the Coast Guard. Hundreds of ships, including vitally needed tankers, are hit, burned, and sunk, victims of prowling enemy submarines. American waters become a battlefront. In the Caribbean, more ships run foul the enemy fire, but greater combat action gets results as convoys steam through to their destinations. Russia meets the grim test. Despite repeated attacks by crushing panzer units, pushing on desperately toward the Caucasus and into the streets of Stalingrad, Marshal Semyon Timoshenko's relentless armies take a terrific toll of the enemy and upset his invasion timetable. The Russians meet the Nazis in close and often hand-to-hand fighting. A German sniper is picked off by a Soviet sharpshooter. Another Nazi tries to surrender, but too late. Britain's Prime Minister flies to Moscow. Eyes and ears the world over are focused on a conference of historic importance. Churchill meets Stalin behind the walled fortress of the Kremlin. Rio de Janeiro, nerve center of the largest country in South America, is the scene of a history-making demonstration. All-out war is declared as a result of the ruthless Axis attacks on Brazilian ships and an appalling loss of lives. Brazil goes to war.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Hilltop Pillbox here in Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada. And today we're filming on a gimbal. Yes, this is something that we use in my broadcasting class that I teach in my high school. And so as we move around, hopefully it's nice smooth motion. And we use this to film football games and basketball and whatnot. So when we're running along the sidelines, it actually is nice and smooth. So I was kind of bouncing there, but hopefully that looked pretty smooth to you. All right, so here we are on USA China turn 7, and things are getting crazy. The Axis have their 12, if not 13 victory points right now. So we're up against it as the Allies. And again, the Axis are played by Detroit and playing Germany and Italy. And G.I. Joe is playing Japan, and they're both very good at this game, and they're causing us 10 kinds of grief. But we did have the fortunate ability to take care of Italy, who turned to the good side, to the Allies, after we took Rome. The Canadians took Rome, actually, And if you know anything about World War II history, Canadians did not take Rome. But they did take they did punch up way above their weight, going up Italy, going up the boot. And Ortona was a real bloodening of the Canadian army in World War II, and it taught us a lot before we headed into Holland and liberated a lot of Holland. So, but it was kind of neat seeing the Canadians take it. Of course, the Germans had a ton of stuff in northern Italy and elsewhere to take care of the rogue Italians, and any Italians that were with German troops at the time, according to the BBR, just become German troops. So the Germans actually pulled in like 90 or 100 IPCs worth of free units, which stung. It really built up their air force, gave them 4 fighters, just boom. But they did lose Germany, so they had to take that back because there was only Italians in Germany. And that rule, I think, has now been changed. It's now been tweaked to say it doesn't include capitals, and I kind of agree with that. I think it's kind of silly that if you take Rome, and then Italy flips to the Allied side, that they could actually just conquer Berlin. But these are the things you find out because, I mean, who'd have thunk it, right? But then Germany inherited a lot of money, as you can see from the thing here, $140 they collected last round, or this round. So yeah, now fortunately they can only place it on their factories, so they won't be out there doing a lot of nasty things to us with it. They'll be on the defense. All right, so not a lot going on for the Americans here. We have one auto attack and then another kind of auto attack that's neither of them can possibly fail. I know we're not supposed to say that, but really they can't. But the Chinese are doing most of the heavy lifting today when it comes to battles for China and America. So we're going to let them strut their stuff. But first, we're going to look at our buy. So we have $63. And so for that, the Americans are going to buy 4 Strat bombers and 5 guys. So the Strat bombers are 12 each. That's 48. 5 mans is 15. That's 63. So that's how much America has to spend. China with $6 is actually going to save a little bit of money, and they're going to buy 1 horsey horse. All right. And that is what we got going on today. So we'll start with China. And so what's going to happen here is this fighter is going to take part in the attack on Kwai Chao. Those infantry there. These 4 infantry are going into Sikang. The horsey horse is going to go here and then into Kwai Chao. And this horsey is going to go into Hopei, and this guy is going to go walk into Shahar. So let's take care of this one here first. So we've got 4 at 1 versus 1 at 2. So I'm going to roll them all at the same time. And here we go. Okay, so no hits for the Chinese. Oops. So we're down to 3 to 1. No hits for anybody. Whoa, look at that. All right. So we lose 1 Chinese infantry. So we're down to 3, but we do capture the territory. So Sikang is now free from the imperialist scourge that is Japan. The cavalry came through Sichuan. So that is now done. So here we are in Kwai Chao. So we have 3 1s. We have a 2 with the horsey horse and a 3 with the hairplane. Okay, so we've got 3 infantry, a horse, and a fighter. So we get a green die this turn. Rare event, unfortunately we did. Okay, so the Japanese have 1 infantry left there. And they jumped right out of the box. Let's try that again. Okay, no hit. Okay, so now in the BBR, when these sorts of things happen, so the Japanese are killed. This is all gone. And we didn't take any hits, okay? The factory gets destroyed because that's just the BBR rules, and the Chinese are not allowed, obviously, to manufacture anything, especially without the Burma Road open. All right, so he's got a non-com. I'm just going to put it back so I don't forget. So I'm going to put him there. And now we have kind of a tense situation here. We got 2 1s and a 2 for the Chinese. No hits. And we have the Japanese. Uh-oh. So we lose one Chinaman there. Nothing. Uh-oh. All right, here comes the... Oh, boy, this is not good. Come on. Oops. Oh, come on. The guy doesn't want to fight at all. Come on, let's go. Oh, boy. Ugh. And Japan and China. Okay, finally. I was getting really worried there. And of course they get a hit. So that means that we lose 2 infantry. But the cavalry does take the spot there. And of course that's a walk-on win. All right, so some tense moments there for the Chinese, but they were able to win the day. Okay, so then the Chinese are going to put their build on, and they will put their build on. They can put it anywhere, so we'll put it in, I don't know, I believe in the BBR. They can kind of place it wherever they want that's open. I don't know if they had to own it at the beginning. If they do, I'll place it elsewhere. But for now, in Kwaichow is where he's going to go. I'm sure the guys will let me know. I forgot to ask that question. All right. So for America, we have 1 attack. So this fighter, he's just going to fly 1, 2 down here and auto kill Mr. Transport. So easy enough, and then fly back, of course. Okay. Over here in Europe, we have this Transport in 91. He's going to pick up these 3 guys, go 1, 2, 3. Now there's no fighters in here, so there's no scramble. And these 3 fellas are going to land in northern Italy, and there we go. Da, 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 da. All right. Taking northern Italy, which never happened in the war. So, kind of a neat thing. Art imitates life, and games just don't imitate anything sometimes. All right. So, America is going to go up by 4, and Germany will go down 4. And I might not have these numbers right. America's right. But Japan, I believe, is quite a bit higher. I'm not sure. Well, maybe not. They've been losing some territory in China, so. And the Germans are going to go down 4. I think that's the right number. If it's not, that's okay. We're on the last round, so it doesn't, like next round is the last round. Excuse me. All right. So here we go. I'm just working the gimbal there. So what we're going to do now is our non-com. So all of these tanks, 6 tanks, 6 men, and 6 artillery are all going to come down to Morocco. Is that Morocco? Is that where I want to be? Yeah, Morocco works fine. And then this whole fleet is going to come down into 92. So in that fleet we have 6 transports, a destroyer, and a cruiser. Okay. They're all in 92. 6 transports, a destroyer, and a cruiser. I know I should probably chip those, but that always looks so amazing when you get a big Yankee fleet going. The destroyer in 119 is going to move 1, 2, 3 down to 91. The fighter from Scotland is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, land in Morocco. The Strat bomber is going to come down and land in Morocco. He's got plenty of room. I'm sure you believe me on that one. So that's everything for America on the Europe side. On the Pacific side, a little bit different here. We're going to have one come down here. 1, 2, 3. He's going to come. I don't know if that was in film. 1, 2, 3. If that was in frame, I should say. There we go. He's going to come down there. Now, you have fighters here, and they can scramble during attacks. But since this is non-com, Buddy can just come down there and pretty as you please. We have another destroyer who's going to go 1, 2, and 3 down to New Zealand. And that's all we have to say about that. Now, this aircraft carrier and fighter are going to come down to Johnson Island, as well as this destroyer. And this fighter is going to fly 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's going to land, whoops, right there. Okay. And then we have these 3 transports. They're going to head on down to Hawaii, along with these 3 subs. These 3 destroyers. Now, some people might look at this and say tactically this is kind of silly because he does have some aircraft in range of Hawaii, and that is true. He has a bomber, and he has 2 more bombers. And now those are the only things that can actually reach into the Hawaiian sea zone. Nothing else can reach and land safely. So we got these fighters here and TACs. They can go 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. They can get there and get to Johnson, but then they can't land anywhere because they don't own Johnson. So these guys are safe from that. But they're not really, because he can take his carrier and go 1, 2 and come and attack there. But if he wants to do that, he is more than welcome to do that. That's not an issue for us. Then we have, like I say, these strat bombers. So he's got 3 strat bombers that can reach here. And he absolutely could come and attack. But strat bombers in the BBR, those 3 strat bombers we see, only get 1 round of combat. And then they're considered gone. So in our understanding of the rules, they bomb and then they leave. And they have no secondary attack. So even if he came in with all 3 and killed the 3 destroyers, he's got no... He can't destroy the transports. So the transports are alive, and that's all we want. We don't really care about the destroyers and subs in the last round. There's not much they're going to be doing anyway. So he can do that if he would like. I have a feeling, though, he's got different plans for them, probably doing some attacks down here, trying to take Salibs, things like that. So we'll see. Maybe even a last-ditch effort at... No, he can't do that, because they can't just drop. You can't just drop guys in. You have to accompany ground forces. So, and I believe it's 1-to-1. So if you have 2 ground forces moving in, you can drop 2 guys in a combat drop. I believe that's what it is. But I believe that's, yeah. So that's pretty much it for all of our movements. And we will have to wait and see what goes on with the Japanese next round. They've got choices. They've got decisions to make, but they got choices. So as far as the money goes, it's not really a big deal, but because there are moral victories and Axis and allies, you know how you get blown out sometimes, but maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple of transports shot down a fighter. Joe, I'm looking at you. You know, so you might lose the game, but there's always these little things you want to point to and say, hey, look what we did. So China, due to this moral victory we have, again, on the BBR, these 2 are worthless, but these 2 are each worth 2. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $9 reduce. $9 reduce, and we saved 2. So now we have $11 for the Chinese. America now is at, whoop, we're at 57. And as we look up here, we own all of that stuff. We own all that stuff. So we're at 67. We didn't do this one here. That's not happening, and that's certainly not happening. So we're looking okay. So $67 for the U.S. And we'll see. That again, it doesn't really mean anything. There's no bonus if I collect so much as the U.S. or not. So, all right. So that is everything we've got going on here today, and we will wait and see how the Japanese respond. And should be interesting this turn 8 because it's all on the line. Like I say, the Axis they think they have their 12 points right now. And hopefully we're in a position to wrest one of those or two of those away from them, because I think they can get another one or two this round. I think the Japanese themselves can, so we've got to be careful. Just a brilliant game played by both sides. And just a side note, I gotta say this, because some people were saying some pretty short-sighted comments about Italy, being taken and then losing Berlin. That was, probably unfortunate, but here's the thing, is that Germany ended up, like I say, with close to $100 worth of units and already on the front lines, like ready to take out. They were relevant, right? So if Germany doesn't lose that money, okay, well, they get to build, but those things are back at the factories, and he doesn't want to be at the factories. He wants to be in Soviet territory. So even if he had built this last round, sure, he'd have some guys in Romania, but where could they go? They can't do anything. Take Bessarabia, that's no points, right? That's nothing. So, and there's no factory up in Leningrad because that got moved out. It's over in Vologda now. And so he could have some more guys stacked in Berlin and Paris. Who cares, right? So the one thing that we do appreciate though about it is that there's no 1-2 can opener with Italian troops. But overall, Germany made out like a bandit with that idea of possibly giving up Italy. So it's yeah. And you know what? We're really glad it happened, because, like I say, the rules get a little tweak every now and again. Oh, look at that! I almost forgot. I even stacked up 6 dice to remind myself, and I almost forgot. Non-com. These 2 fighters are going into Archangel. There we go. 2 American fighters have moved into Archangel. So, all right, enough monologuing by me. Time to let you know what I got. So, in the eastern U.S., a couple of AAA just sitting there keeping the peace. C-Zone 91, a destroyer. C-Zone 92, 6 transports, a destroyer, and a cruiser. Gibraltar, a fighter and a strategic. In Morocco, we have 6 each of artillery, infantry, and armor. Northern Italy, we have 1 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 armor. C-Zone 95, a lone transport. Probably not long for this world. In Archangel, those 2 newly moved fighters. In Manchuria, we have 3 men, 1 artillery, and 2 mech. In In Hawaii, we have 5 infantry, 5 artillery, and 2 mech. In C-Zone 20, and an anti-aircraft gun. In C-Zone 26, we have 3 each of destroyers, subs, and transports. In the C-Zone 30, we have a destroyer, a carrier with 2 fighters. And in C-Zone 63, a destroyer, and in C-Zone 54, a destroyer. And I believe that is everything. And in China, we have in Sikang 3 Chinese infantry. In Kwaichao, 3 Chinese infantry, 2 cavalry. Hopei, 1 cavalry. Shenxi, 1 fighter. Shahar, 1 infantry. And that, as they say, is that. We also own Korea, if anybody cares. So, yeah. So America, not sure if I got my money right. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We're down 2 in the Philippines. But we're up 7 with Korea and Italy. So we're usually at 52. So yep, that makes sense. 57. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching, folks. I'm going to pass the reins on over to Hambone. Hambone, who knows these rules far better than myself, has been an invaluable help. And hopefully that turn will generate some fun stuff for us. All right. Take care, and we'll see you on turn 8.